first time she truly notices your silence, it's a subtle but profound shift. She might initially think it's temporary, that you're busy or distracted. But as hours turn into days, she realizes this time is different. The comfort she once relied on your availability whenever she wanted has vanished. This absence creates a space that she cannot fill with distractions or explanations. For the first time, she feels the weight of your consistency and the energy you once gave freely. The emptiness she experiences is not cruel or vengeful. It is a reflection of what stability felt like, the quiet presence she may have taken for granted. The subtlety of silence communicates more than words ever could. It tells her that your focus, your attention, and your calm are now yours to protect. This moment is not punishment, it is awareness. She begins to understand that boundaries exist for a reason, and that the man she once relied on for emotional steadiness has chosen peace over chaos. In this quiet, she feels what it's like to experience absence when care and patience are no longer automatic. Your silence becomes a mirror, a lesson in respect, consistency, and self-control. At first, she convinces herself that you'll eventually return to your old pattern, just as you always did. She remembers the patience, the softness, the willingness to listen and engage, and assumes that those behaviors will repeat. She believes that your calm and steady energy is something she can rely on, that you will always explain, check in, and resolve any discomfort. But slowly, the reality sinks in. You are no longer following the script she's accustomed to. Her expectations clash with the new truth. She realizes that your silence is intentional, that you have chosen not to react, not to chase, and not to validate her actions. This realization is subtle at first, disguised as normalcy, but it grows steadily until the truth is undeniable. The man she once counted on for emotional consistency is no longer available for her to lean on. She begins to sense the power in your stillness, the way you can maintain composure and peace without needing her approval or attention. This is not about indifference or punishment. It is about self-respect, awareness, and disciplined energy. She experiences a moment of cognitive dissonance. The man she knew is still present in memory, but in reality, he has shifted, evolved, and no longer operates according to her expectations. A Stoic man does not make announcements, speeches, or performative displays. He understands that true influence comes from calm, measured energy rather than noise or reaction. When you remain silent, it is not out of anger, frustration, or desire for control. It is a conscious choice to conserve your energy, to protect your focus, and to maintain emotional clarity. Your silence communicates a message louder than words. You are grounded, unshaken, and unattached to outcomes beyond your control. This kind of presence is magnetic because it is authentic and self-contained. She begins to notice the change not through confrontation, but through the absence of habitual engagement. There is a subtle shift in perception. What was once ordinary now feels remarkable. Your quiet power becomes evident as it influences the environment without effort or pressure. She may feel a sense of confusion, wonder, or even subtle discomfort because she is no longer in the familiar dynamic where her actions automatically invoked responses. The Stoic's silent power is not meant to manipulate. It is meant to demonstrate mastery over self, not over others. This point establishes the foundation for all that follows. Presence does not require sound, and strength does not require drama. Before your silence, you expressed yourself through care, attention, and consistency. You reached out with effort, answered thoughtfully, and showed patience even when it wasn't reciprocated. For a time, that consistency was taken for granted. When she realizes you are no longer engaging, she begins to reevaluate everything you offered. Each past message, each moment of attentiveness, now carries weight because it came from someone who operated with self-control, not obligation. The absence of this effort exposes the contrast between your former reliability and the lack of anything comparable in the present. She may initially misinterpret your silence as disinterest, but over time, it reveals a deeper lesson. Consistent, thoughtful energy is rare and invaluable. Your withdrawal highlights this truth in a way words never could. The silent contrast becomes a mirror for her own behavior, showing her how she responded or failed to respond to the steadiness you provided. She feels the impact of lost attention and realizes that the care you once demonstrated cannot be replicated easily. This moment emphasizes that Stoic strength is not about reaction or punishment. It is about conscious action, or in this case, deliberate inaction, to maintain dignity, energy, and focus. Silence is often mistaken for weakness, but it is the foundation of inner power. By choosing not to react, you maintain control over your energy and focus. You no longer respond impulsively, nor do you allow external factors to disrupt your peace. The longer silence lasts, the more it communicates strength. It is consistent, unwavering, and impartial. She begins to sense the weight of your restraint without needing words to explain it. This quiet consistency demonstrates that your attention is not automatic and your presence is deliberate. Over time, silence becomes louder than any argument or emotional display could be. The absence of engagement is a natural teacher, showing her that your energy is finite, valuable, and must be respected. She experiences a subtle but undeniable pull toward understanding the significance of self-mastery. When she sees that your calm is unshaken, she begins to realize that influence does not require chasing, and authority does not require speech. Your silence is a reflection of your internal strength, and it naturally commands recognition, respect, and attention. In this way, restraint becomes not a denial, but a presence of force that cannot be ignored. Your silence isn't about punishment, it's a conscious withdrawal of energy. She begins to feel the absence, not as cruelty, but as a gap in her world that cannot be ignored. Every unanswered message, every missed notification, becomes a subtle lesson in boundaries and respect. This is the first moment she senses that your time and attention are finite, and they are no longer automatically available. The void you create is not empty. It is a reflection of the energy she once took for granted. She realizes that her choices had consequences, and the calm presence she once relied on no longer bends to her schedule or whims. The quiet reveals the truth about value. The energy you give is precious, and it must be respected. This withdrawal is not reactive, it is intentional. By stepping back, you allow her to experience the same subtle tension you once felt when your efforts were ignored. In this way, absence becomes a teacher. She is forced to reflect on the behavior she once overlooked. This demonstrates the Stoic principle: protect your energy, maintain your boundaries, and let silence communicate what words often cannot. Your silence functions as a mirror. It shows her what indifference felt like when it was you waiting, hoping, or seeking attention. She experiences firsthand how absence impacts perspective. Every message she ignored, every moment she overlooked, now resonates differently. The subtle discomfort she feels isn't anger or manipulation, it's awareness. She begins to notice patterns in her behavior that she once dismissed. The quiet allows reflection, showing her the contrast between what she valued and what was truly offered. Silence is not a tool for revenge. It is an instrument for clarity. The lack of reaction emphasizes consistency and presence in a way that spoken words never could. It teaches her to understand the consequences of actions without confrontation. As she experiences this mirrored reflection, she gains insight into the rare nature of steadiness and emotional balance. Your calm detachment highlights her missed opportunities for connection, patience, and respect. In this way, the Stoic man's absence is a lesson in understanding, not conflict, allowing her to recognize what stability and consistency truly mean when experienced for the first time without interruption. Even in your absence, your influence remains. She begins to feel it not through messages or calls, but through the energy and calm you once embodied. Your consistency has left a lasting impression, and the void now carries the weight of what stability truly is. She doesn't miss the words. She misses the effect your presence had on her life. Peace, clarity, and steadiness that cannot be replicated is the emptiness left behind forces her to face her own behaviors, her impulsiveness, and the patterns she once ignored. Silence becomes more than quiet. It becomes a presence with weight and significance. It serves as a constant reminder that attention and energy are valuable, and that they were once offered with patience and care. The absence of reaction highlights your composure and self-discipline, which she cannot manufacture on her own. Over time, the gap becomes a subtle teacher, showing her the difference between fleeting excitement and genuine steadiness. Your presence in absence demonstrates that influence does not require constant engagement, and respect is earned through consistent energy, not words. As she notices your absence, her ego begins to shift. She compares other people to the calm, steady energy you once provided. Every interaction with others feels shallow, conditional, or anxious. She realizes that the stability and confidence you embodied were rare and difficult to replicate. Your stillness sets a standard she cannot match. This shift is subtle but undeniable. She begins to recognize the difference between fleeting attention and genuine consistency. The ego that once believed she could manipulate or predict your responses begins to crack under the weight of reality. She experiences a sense of humility, noticing that your calm authority was never performative, it was natural and grounded. Her attempts to recreate it in others fail, and she slowly understands the depth of what she lost. This moment is not about punishment or pride, it is about awareness. She sees the value of steadiness, self-control, and integrity, all demonstrated silently. Your energy, consistency, and calm become benchmarks against which everything else is measured. She begins to respect not just what you gave, but who you were. Your silence is not a withdrawal, it is an evolution. By detaching from outcomes and refusing to chase validation, you have grown beyond the need to react or explain. Silence becomes a gate, not a wall, separating you from chaos and preserving your peace. She notices the subtle transformation. The man she once knew now operates with selfmastery.com and focus. You are no longer reactive. You are deliberate. Your stillness communicates strength, control, and confidence without words or demonstrations. Over time, your presence or absence sets a standard that cannot be challenged. She begins to sense that your detachment is not about punishment. It is about maturity, awareness, and self. By refusing to engage in habitual cycles, you demonstrate the power of conscious choice. She notices the difference between emotional reaction and deliberate calm. The quiet you maintain becomes magnetic, naturally drawing attention without effort. This ascension is not about impressing her. It is about living with discipline, clarity, and focus. Your silence is now a reflection of your growth, a demonstration that peace, self-mastery, and control are stronger than words or actions designed to provoke a response. Even when you are not engaging directly, your presence continues to influence her subtly. She may watch from a distance through social media, mutual friends, or small glimpses of your life and feels a mix of curiosity and uncertainty. Your calm detachment makes her question familiar dynamics because the man she once understood is now a mystery. She can no longer predict your reactions, nor can she rely on your energy for reassurance. This uncertainty pulls her attention inward, making her reflect on the moments she once overlooked. The power of your unseen influence is quiet but profound. It is not manipulative. It is a natural consequence of self-mastery. By maintaining your peace and refusing to react impulsively, you create an environment where your absence teaches more than presence ever could. She begins to see that influence does not come from chasing, but from stillness. The silent impact you leave behind demonstrates clarity, control, and maturity. Your energy communicates values she cannot imitate: discipline, stability, and balance. Even without engagement, you remain a point of reflection and comparison, showing her the strength in restraint, and illustrating that real presence does not require constant interaction. True strength lies in self. The Stoic man does not depend on external validation, nor does he react to outcomes beyond his control. By maintaining composure and refusing to chase attention, you demonstrate mastery over your mind and emotions. She begins to notice this stability because it contrasts with the instability she often creates around herself. The absence of reaction is not a sign of weakness. It is a conscious choice to protect your energy, prioritize focus, and maintain inner peace. This Stoic mastery teaches her without confrontation. She cannot manipulate or predict your behavior because your control is internal, not conditional. Each day of consistent calm reinforces your independence, making your presence or absence respected automatically. She may feel discomfort at first because she is accustomed to eliciting responses through familiar patterns. But over time, your restraint commands recognition, subtly highlighting the value of self-discipline. Stoic mastery is a quiet demonstration of strength. It is about acting with integrity, controlling impulses, and prioritizing clarity. In this way, your calm becomes magnetic, your decisions respected, and your energy treated as precious. Silence transforms into a form of leadership. Silence changes the dynamic entirely. The roles are reversed. She once held comfort and control through your availability, but now the lack of engagement makes her question her own behavior. She feels the subtle pull of uncertainty, realizing she no longer has automatic access to your attention or emotional energy. The power balance shifts because your calm detachment communicates self-respect and independence. She may attempt to test or provoke a response, but the man she once influenced now operates from self-mastery rather than need. This reversal highlights a vital lesson. Influence is earned through presence, patience, and composure, not through effort or reaction. Her ego begins to shift as she notices the difference between conditional attention and consistent stability. Your silence naturally commands recognition because it is authentic and deliberate. She cannot replicate it in others, and she begins to understand the impact of your disciplined energy. By stepping back, you elevate yourself and demonstrate that control over your own mind and emotions is the foundation of respect and influence. The reversal is not about punishment, it is about clarity, growth, and quiet authority.